So sometimes less really is more. When we talk about a limited palette, we mean choosing just a small handful of colors. It's usually 3 to 5, and they're typically the primary colors, and mixing everything from those 3 to 5 colors. At first, this might sound restrictive, but it's one of the fastest ways to grow as a painter. The key points here are that the limited palette creates natural color harmony because every mix shares the same base colors. It reduces overwhelm from too many choices. It helps you focus on value, composition, and brushwork instead of color chaos. For instance, when I was starting out, I wanted to use, as I mentioned in a previous video, many colors under the sun, but those colors felt scattered. I felt really overwhelmed because each color were colors that I needed to go out and purchase out of the tube, or a color that I convinced myself I needed to go out and buy, instead of just sitting at home peacefully and practicing mixing my colors. Because truth be told, the primary colors, they're primary for a reason. Those primary colors plus white and maybe black or burnt umber, they can create pretty much every single color you will ever need when painting. So how does it work exactly? Well, here's the core concept for using the limited palette. Pick one warm color, one cool color, and one neutral color, for example, raw sienna or a burnt umber. Pick those colors as your foundation. Then mix to create every other color you need. You can mix in equal ratios. You can use in unequal ratios, say mixing one warm color, a little bit of a warm color with a larger amount of a cool color. Examples of palettes to share aloud. Examples of limited palettes are the most. So here are some examples of limited palettes. I'm going to start with the most popular one, the Zorn palette. That one's pretty classic and simple. The Zorn palette includes yellow ochre, cadmium red, ivory black, titanium white. It makes muted skin-like tones and warm neutrals. The next type of palette we have is the primary triad. That's the ultramarine blue, cadmium red, and cadmium yellow. And you can mix nearly any color, and it's very vibrant. The next and last palette is the Earthy Botanical palette, great for floral studies. For this palette, I would really recommend using burnt sienna, yellow ochre, ultramarine blue, and titanium white. This creates beautiful soft greens, warm browns, and muted pinks. See, you'll notice how every color you mix feels like it belongs together. That's the beauty of using shared pigments. So, how do we plan a composition with a limited palette? Well, the first step is to choose a dominant color family. This is the color that will cover the largest area and set the overall mood. The second step is to choose a supporting color. This is a secondary color that balances the dominant color. Usually it takes up less space. The third step is to choose a neutral. This gives the eye a place to rest. It could be gray, beige, brown, or a muted version of your dominant color. And the last step is to choose a small accent color. Just a pop, like a flower center or highlight. Keep it minimal so it has more power that way. Also, that small accent color will help exhibit the principle of art known as emphasis. Also, imagine you're telling a story with your colors. There's a main character, a sidekick, and a quiet background. The next thing we're going to talk about are practical tips for painting with a limited palette. Here are some techniques. You can use the pre-mixed piles of color on your palette before you start painting so you can see the relationships. You can test your mixes on scrap paper. Look for harmony, not just accuracy. And actually, I want to piggyback to the pre-mixed piles. So if you saw me use the palette knife in any of the videos, you saw that I was using that to mix. For this technique, you would want to mix using your palette knife. Then you would want to scrape off the paint and put it anywhere else on your palette, just so it won't be mixed in with the other colors you want to mix. Alright, so moving forward, you can use white and black sparingly to shift value without losing color unity. Then you're going to repeat colors in different parts of your painting to tie it all together. And last but not least, another technique you can try is to adjust the temperature, not just color. Warm up mixes with reds or yellows, and you can cool them down by using blues. Now, your painting doesn't have to match reality. If your rose is pink and your leaves are teal, that's fine, as long as those colors feel like they live in the same world. Now, just to recap, fewer colors equals stronger harmony. It forces you to learn mixing. Your focus shifts to design, value, and mood. And here's your quick homework assignment. Choose just 4 colors and make 3 quick thumbnail sketches, 2 inches to 3 inches each, of the same subjects using only those 4 color mixes. Focus on arrangement, not detail. See how cohesive they feel. Limiting your palette might feel scary at first, but it's actually freeing. It changes your eye, it strengthens your compositions, and gives your work a signature harmony.